So, Stuart, thank you very much for coming along today.
Thank you for having me.
Bloodhound with you. So, you're the CEO of Bloodhound Project.
That's correct.
What is the Bloodhound Project? Tell me about it.
The Bloodhound Project is a project that is attempting to set a new world land speed record. But underpinning all of that, it originally and still is and has an aim of inspiring the next generation in science, engineering, maths. But yes, ultimately to set a new land speed record.
And how far along with it are you at the moment? Because this project's been running for quite a long time, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It started in 2008. Richard Noble started the project. We successfully did our low-speed testing in 2017 in Yuki, and then we did our high-speed testing in 2019 in South Africa on the Hakskeen Pan. And we returned back to the UK looking to seek new funding to prepare the car then to go back out to set the new land speed record. COVID came along, and pretty much all of our sponsorship and funding streams dried up with the pandemic. So currently I have been since then discreetly looking for new funding, but it's come to the point that actually I need to add an additional twist to the project that I hope will bring in the final funding I need to go back out to South Africa and set a new land speed record.
And that new funding is 12 million you're looking for to get out to South Africa and set the record?
Yeah, the total funding I need is 12 million. And that will cover all the costs for preparing the car, integrating the rockets. So when we did the high-speed testing, we just used the jet engine. And that was the high-speed testing was all about validating the data, the aerodynamic data, to confirm the modelling we'd done on the car was now actually matched what reality had, operating the car, so in the desert. So it's the funding covers that, the integration of the rocket, and then the redeployment back out to South Africa, which we've done before, obviously, to set a new land speed record.
And you handed me one of these today.
Yes.
You're looking for a new driver.
That's right, that's the twist.
And what attributes does a new driver need apart from the spare 12 million?
Yes, no, it's a very good question, and I think a lot of people are surprised. It's probably wider than you think. I mean, the obvious answer is I need someone who's experienced at operating in a high-speed environment. But actually, it's demonstration that they have gone through and they know and they're experiencing preparing for and training for that high-pressured environment. And then obviously demonstrated that they can operate in that environment and they don't crumble when under pressure. So discipline is absolutely key. It's all about maintaining focus even though you're under that extreme pressure. So that's who I'm looking for. There could be a driver, a car, a motorcyclist, or even a pilot, aerobatic display pilot.
Driver was pilot, wasn't he?
That's right, yeah. So Andy, his experience is based on a fast jet pilot in the Air Force. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, history has shown that the land speed record holders have had varied backgrounds. So it's a fairly wide field, I feel, and I hope that then attracts someone with that experience, and then obviously the funding as well to then reform the team. Andy will remain on the team and go back out and set a new land speed record.
Any names you'd love to see in the driver's seat? Lewis Hamilton maybe, Lando Norris?
Yeah, there's actually a long list of names out there, of course, and if they're interested, then I'd love them to reach out, get in touch, and maybe we can chat about a potential, new
heard
job
that,
for
guys?
them. Yes.
Not Richard Hammond. Not Richard Hammond. Not after that Rimac incident. No. He's not known for driving fast cars, is he? So, talking of power, you mentioned the jet engine. What power is in there?
Yeah, so
what have you got in there?
So the EJ200 jet engine, which in the picture you showed me, is obviously that's the reheat, the afterburner, as the Americans say, the flames out the back. That's the EJ200. That is from the Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jet. And that can provide up to about 9 tons of thrust just on its own. It's just phenomenal. It only weighs about a ton, but it can produce 9 tons of thrust. Phenomenal.
9 tons of thrust to most people like me. 9 tons of thrust. But I can't actually imagine what 9 tons of thrust is like. So give me a comparison. My car is 400 brake horsepower, top speed of 183 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How does this compare?
Well, it's very difficult to compare the direct correlation between the power of a car that drives the wheels and the efflux from a jet engine. But with that jet engine, you're taking a 6.5 ton car from 0, and as we did in South Africa, up to 628 miles per hour in about a minute.
In a minute?
Yeah, that is the thrust that produces.
So the 0 to 60 time is?
Well, it's probably a bit slower than some of the fast cars, but the difference being is the acceleration continues and keeps continuing and pushing on. So most cars...
I could maybe beat you in a 0 to 60 race. Then.
Probably not in your car.
I ran faster than this car today.
Yes. Well, you're more than welcome to try. The power is phenomenal. And then we have the addition of the rocket that will provide the additional thrust we need to take it up to beyond 800 miles per hour.
So you've done 628 miles an hour. You're aiming for
800 plus.
Okay, and you're flying the car out to South Africa for testing. Mm-hmm. Your carbon footprint must be massive.
Yeah. So the importance of Bloodhound is it has to be relevant. And I took the decision last year that we are aiming to set the first net zero land speed record without using fossil fuel.
And how are you planning to achieve that?
Yeah, so it's about the operation of the car at the moment. So the jet engine currently runs on fossil fuel, and the intention is to use a sustainable aviation fuel instead of fossil fuel. The rocket is already green because its emissions is oxygen and water, high temperature steam. So if the aim, as I intend to do, is to run the EJ200 on a sustainable aviation fuel, then that will then mean we're not using any fossil fuel, and therefore we are relevant to today, operating sustainably, pushing engineering boundaries, and for me it's demonstrating you can still have fun, you can still set new land speed records, and you can do it sustainably. Because there are some people who go, well, if we have to restrict our use of fossil fuel, we can't do the things we used to do. And in my view, that's not true. And engineers and scientists are going to solve this problem, and I'm going to demonstrate it by running Bloodhound and setting a new land speed record.
Yeah. Oh, there's already some amazing synthetic fuels out there that with the old Bentley on. So
exactly.
Brilliant. And the track in South Africa that you're using, whereabouts is the track?
Yeah, so the track is in Northern Cape, in South Africa on the Namibian border. It's called the Hatscheme Pan. And there are very few places on the planet we can run the car because we need a long, flat desert. And we've identified the Hatscheme Pan floods regularly, and that's important to keep and sustain the desert nice and flat. And the great thing about it is it's in actually a relatively poor part of the country, and so by Bloodhound appearing in that location, we've increased employment. We've allowed the government have now provided water supply to that region, mobile communications. So we're also adding to the local community, and I'd love to go back and continue supporting the local community.
What kind of preparation do you need to do for the track? Because having travelled the fastest I've driven a car is 155 miles an hour on the German autobahns, of course.
Yes.
No speed limit there. And some of the surfaces, when the surface gets a bit rough on the road, you really don't feel comfortable driving at that speed. Every little bump is a worry.
Yes.
Now the speeds you're talking about, and those tyres look like, the wheels don't seem like they would soak up many bumps.
No, you've raised a very good point. Track preparation is absolutely key. It's a key safety aspect, and that was, again, the testing we did in 2019 was not just the car and not just the team, it was the track as well. And the track has taken a number of years to prepare, clearing it of stones, but as I mentioned earlier, it is all about the fact that it's naturally prepared by the regular flooding. So by the geography of the land, keeping it flat, that's one thing, and then by the meticulous cleaning of stones, that has now allowed us to have a perfect track for operating this car at high speed. The wheels are metallic, and we were very impressed with how minimal the damage minor damage in the wheels of the car running up to 600 plus
So I
miles per hour.
presume you would have problems running regular rubber tyres on a car at that speed.
Absolutely, it's a non-starter.
Yeah.
Absolutely a non-starter. We ran the car in Yuki on a rubber, but once you get up to speeds beyond 300 miles per hour, you are going to struggle with the integrity of a tyre.
Yeah.
And so metallic wheels are the only way forward.
And how did you choose that location for the track? Because obviously, you know, we've had land speed records on the salt flats at Utah and Pendine Sands, which I presume is not long enough these days for the speeds we're talking about, where Malcolm Campbell set his record.
That's another good question. So actually technology again came into this. What was done is by using Google Maps data, there was some analysis done on the whole planet. So once you remove the water, you remove built-up areas, you remove forests, you actually come down to a few locations that are long enough and suitable enough, and they obviously need to be flat. So by using, height data, you can very quickly with an algorithm work out that that's flat. Then once the computer's decided the locations that are suitable, you then go, actually there are some countries, some places on the planet that are not stable enough for us for various reasons. So therefore you have to remove those off the list. And you come down to probably 12 or so, a dozen locations, then actually you go and start visiting them to assess if they're suitable. And the tracks in America are not as suitable as they used to be. They're not flooding. They're not flooding, they're not long enough, they're not as flat as they used to be. The Hackskeen Pan still has regular flooding, which absolutely keeps it nice and flat.
Has there been speed events held there before, or is this something that Bloodhound has brought to the area?
Yeah, there has a little bit actually. It's already known locally within South Africa as a good place to race cars at speed. So they have had local events on it. So we're not the first, but obviously we are the first to go up beyond 600 miles per hour.
So has anyone set a land speed record there before?
No,
so you'll be the first,
yes,
you will be the first one. We're thinking positive, you will be the first one to set a land
absolutely.
speed record.
And now what's interesting is, and this is a great thing, I was born in Africa, I was born in Nairobi, and what's great is the record will recognise the country of the team, but also the country you do it in. And for Africa, particularly, I think it would be great to set a new world land speed record in a different continent. I look forward to doing that.
Fantastic. And you're on tour with her at the moment.
That's right.
Looking for a driver.
That's right.
Where else are you going?
So, yeah, we've been around the country from the Midlands down into London. Obviously, we're now here, and we appreciate and thank Brooklands for having us. The next stop is down Bewley. And then that's the end of our tour. So by then we would have done 6 days of touring around the country, just publicising this, and hopefully there'll be a driver out there, a potential driver out there, who will get in touch, and then we can get on with this project and get back out to South Africa.
I'd be happy to give it a go.
You will, geez, you just need to put your name forward.
And how do we do that?
Yeah, just go onto the website and look at our email address and reach out. Bloodhound LSR, bloodhoundlsr.com.
There it is.
And yes, QR code, and there's a QR code on the car.
Yeah,
so if you see the card, point your camera at the car, the model car, and off you go.
But thank you very much for bringing her along today and parking her right in front of the Malcolm Campbell.
Yes.
It's a fantastic link between the old and the new.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm especially, and the team are especially grateful for this opportunity. I mean, look at that, that's a great sight.
Yeah, isn't it? We're thrilled to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.